I noticed a lot of things reading through Acts chapter 6, and the first thing was just the fact that more and more people were coming to know and follow Jesus. The second was that there were disputes between the Hellenistic and the Hebraic Jews, and these disputes were over whether or not the widows in the community were being fed. The disciples wanted to make sure that their time was being spent effectively, and the disciples chose 7 men to make sure that the widows were being fed. These men that were chosen were known for being full of wisdom and the Spirit, and this decision ended up making everyone happy. These men were prayed over by all the apostles, and again, even after this, more and more people came to know and followed Jesus. And some interpretations that I got out of this just particular passage was, the first one was that the apostles were one way you could interpret it is that the apostles were ignoring the widows and the women, and that they did not think that it was important to feed them based on the statement that they made in verse 2. I don't think that that is actually what was going on, but that's one way that someone could possibly interpret it. Another interpretation is just the fact that the apostles needed some people to take charge of making sure that the widows got fed so that they could continue to preach the gospel, which was, of course, their main focus. And another one is just that the apostles were trying to find a way to make sure that all of the needs of the church were being met, but also making sure that they were not neglecting the spreading of the gospel, because, again, that was their main focus. And an application of this text that we can all use, especially as leaders, is that it is okay to delegate things. A lot of times leaders try to take on anything and everything that is placed in front of them, and I know I do that all the time. I don't like saying no. And the truth of the matter is that that is not possible. It is okay to look at people and say, okay, I need you to take care of this task or this area. That is how more leaders are made. This is exactly what the apostles did. They realized that they needed to focus their time on preaching, so they put others in charge of taking care of the widows. As leaders, we need to do the same thing. We need to recognize where our time is needed and give the areas where it is not needed to others, so that everyone's time and gifts are being used effectively to advance God's kingdom.